cat.
That's why I'm the producer. Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. Yes, I am the producer. Anyway, I am here tonight with Amy Saunders. Amy, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
And we are going to get to Amy's search for her dog, Callie, in just a moment. First, I am going to break some really great news from this week. The abuser in the puppy doe case has been found and arrested. Zach, let's get that poster of puppy doe up so everybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about remembers. Puppy doe was horrifically abused and found left for dead in a park in Quincy, Massachusetts. There have been a number of candlelight vigils. There have been a endless outpouring of support for the memory of this poor dog. She was abused so horribly that she had to be euthanized because she never would have lived a normal or comfortable life. Since this has happened, her page has gotten tens of thousands of supporters. There's been an exponential increase in the reward. It's just gained national attention for the horrors that this poor dog had to suffer. Let's get a look at the sad piece of human waste who was arrested this week. They said that there may be a Connecticut connection somewhere in the beginning of all this, and this person, if you will, was arrested in New Britain, as a matter of fact. He is a Polish person here on an expired visa, and there was sufficient DNA found in his apartment to match puppy doe, which included blood and fur. Definitely, he pled not guilty in court, but the evidence is overwhelming, and he is nailed. I'm sorry. He lived adjacent to the park where she was found, how very conveniently left for dead. He was actually a caregiver for the elderly woman who owned the house he lived in. And of course, he was a caregiver without credentials, which just really makes you wonder. The woman is now deceased, and reports are that she died of natural causes, but I'm sure that raises the eyebrow or two. He is charged with 11 counts of abuse, intimidation of a witness, misleading an investigation. Apparently, one of the reports said he stole over $6,000 from a church. Nice guy. He's being held on $500,000 bail, and November 21st is his next court date. And he has been extradited to Quincy, Mass. He did waive the extradition, which, you know, if he fought it, there would have been no fighting it, really.
No choice.
Nope. So there is the face of the monster, and I keep saying the monsters are out there, and you know, it's disturbing just to look at him. It really, really is. I think the picture that made me the most upset in the beginning was when they had his picture like superimposed over her picture, and it irked me to see him so near to her again. You know, I just really didn't feel like that was right. So I haven't seen any more like that, which is good, because that really did get me upset. So anyway, that is the wonderful news for this week, and we will certainly keep everyone informed as to the progression of this case. Again, the next court date is November 21st, so we probably won't be hearing anything between now and then, unless, of course, there is justice served behind the scenes before then. But I didn't say that, did I? Anyway, Zach, we'll take the camera back. Amy's like, yeah, what she said.
I was thinking it.
You know, I mean, I don't know. How do you, I don't know. You know how jails are.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing right before you said it.
Yeah, I mean, not that I have personal experience with a jail, but we all know how that rolls, you know, with people who abuse people and animals.
Kids and animals.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that being said, Amy, Callie's still out there.
She is.
tell us what happened the day she went missing, and what date was that again?
It was September 19th.
Okay.
Around 11:30 in the morning. We have a big fenced-in backyard and big, thick fence. I mean, no one ever has gotten out of the fence. And my son, I was taking my son to school, and my daughter was staying home sick that day. And my son forgot his phone. So the front door was locked. He tried to go in through, he went in, opened the gate, ran around to the back of the house to get his phone, and he was in such a frenzy, being late for school. He hates being late. He came running out, left the gate open a crack, jumped in the car. I didn't see it, and we took off.
Oh,
So,
a disaster waiting to happen.
yeah, and I didn't see it because it wasn't open that wide.
Sure.
And then around, I'm a visiting nurse. I was way out in Southbury at exit 14 around 11:30. I got a phone call from my daughter, and well, because what happened was she got up and she let the dogs out, and you can't see the gate from the back door. So she lets them out and they play in the yard. And about 10 minutes later, she said that she went and she opened the back door, and only 3 dogs came in. So so she went out, and actually our pit bull puppy walked her over to the gate, and the gate was open where Callie went out. So.
Aw, telling you.
Telling her, yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
So she was the only one to go out. I don't know if it was because the crack was wasn't opened, or she's just the only one that ventured out, curious and ventured out. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. So when was the last confirmed sighting of Callie that you had?
I've had all kinds of sightings come in, and it's hard to say when my last confirmed sighting was. Maybe on Houston Street. I'm not sure. You saw the picture, and you know, I don't. It's hard to say. There's a million black and white dogs out there, and there's nothing really distinguishing her that people can pick out easy. I mean, she's got a curly tail and pointed ears, but people, they don't know. They just see black and white dogs. So every time I've got a sighting, I've rushed out to wherever I'm getting called to. I'm following up on everything, and it's never been her. So I've never actually had a real confirmed sighting that I can say, oh, I saw her and she took off, like someone that knew her saw her. And so I've never really,
Yeah, because for those who are not familiar, the first night that I showed Callie, my very own friend and crew member lives in your area.
Yes.
And as I was showing her picture for the first time, and Zach, let's get the pictures and the poster. You can like roll through them for me, please. He was jumping up and down. He had just seen Callie that morning.
So that may have been my first and last confirmed sighting.
But this is Callie. This is the poster that you will see. Yeah, and that night I had him call you when we were off the air because I was like, oh my God,
I rushed to that area. Yeah, I rushed right over there.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. But this is and this is a closer shot of Callie. I mean, I have seen them. A lot of these dogs that are showing up in the pounds and people who are posting to your pages. Is this Callie? Is this? I've got a little bit of white, but it's not the same.
It's a pocket pit. They're mixed with lab. It's a lab pit bull mix, and they turn out looking. That's how they come out looking.
Yeah.
So it's a very common breed.
White, that's what I know.
Yeah.
And the one that I've seen. That's what.
Speak up, Speedo.
But that's it had the design on the second part, the second patch white here, and then this little separation white here, the little part of.
So that was my last confirmed sighting then,
so
because
For anyone who can't hear, Speedo saying that it was exactly that pattern of the white on the chest that he remembers seeing. But yeah, she's got the white on the paws.
White on all her toes, curled tail. Yeah, her tail's always curled, and
her ears
pointy
stick up.
ears.
Yep. So there have been a host of different dogs that have been posted to your page. Oh, I saw this dog. This dog's in this pound. Could this be Callie?
As far away as Ledyard, New Jersey, and but I continue to encourage people to keep posting because you never know. But they all look very similar. But I would know my girl.
Oh yeah.
A second, I know it's not her.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, there was one. I remember one night it was like really late, and I got home, and somebody was like, "Do we wake her up?" And I'm like, "No, it's not her."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's there's a million. And I go to the pound, and I think last time I was at the pound, they had every kennel had a black and white pit bull mix, and they all looked like Callie, but not exactly like Callie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's hard because markings on a dog can be so close yet so far.
Yeah.
And it's just there's so many, like you said, out there. but it's got to be that right. It's got to be her.
Yeah, and I've gotten, I got a call, one woman up on Hill Street, which is, you know, up the street from where the confirmed sighting was, and she called and she said, your poster is right out in front of my house, and I see your dog, Callie, running up the street. Callie's running up the street. So, of course, we all frantically jump in the car and race up there, and it was a huge male. Clearly a male pit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, yeah. But everyone's description is so different, you know?
Yeah.
So I follow up on everything regardless.
Yeah, you really have to.
I have to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I was trying to help the shelter that I volunteered for look for a dog that had gotten loose, and the wild goose chases that I got sent on. But you have to.
You have to.
Because you never know.
Yeah, I
you
couldn't,
know.
yeah, I have to follow up on every one I
Yeah,
get.
you just never
So,
know.
You never know.
And, you know, a lot of just a tip for anybody who does think they see Callie, if you can snap a picture with your phone.
Yep.
You know,
I've had people send me videos. Yeah,
Yeah.
video is a good idea, a quick picture.
It's
yeah,
so
anything.
helpful because just a quick picture or like the video, like you said, it can determine whether you have to go chase
Whether I
your
have to
tail
go.
or not.
Yeah, it's
you
been
know?
a wild, it's a never-ending wild goose chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching.
Yeah, I know.
You know I've
yeah,
been
all the
watching.
events are unfolding, yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of support, a lot of followers.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. Zach, we'll take the camera back. So you have gone like launched this whole campaign to try to find her.
Yes.
You've got the posters, you've had a dog tracker, you've got
Yes.
2 different Facebook pages.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of your experience with the dog tracker.
Well, as soon as she went missing, Cindy Pelletier put me in contact with dog trackers. Oh, actually, she put me in contact with the Doggone Recovery Group.
Yep.
And they were amazing. They called me right away. They set up the pages, actually. And they came out, and we drove around. They made posters. And then the next step was they asked me if I was interested in having the pet trackers come. They came in with their scent dog. So Trigger came to the house, and he came around, and I was wondering if it would work because I have all my other animals in the house,
Right.
but he was able to get a scent, Callie's scent, and so out the front door he went, and sure enough, he took off right in the direction that the neighbor said he saw Callie going in. So I was hopeful, and they did end up tracking her scent to Fulton Park.
Right, and Fulton Park has been where you've had most of your search
Around
efforts.
Fulton
Yeah.
Park. Yeah, well, yeah.
And you were even trapping there. Tell us about that.
That was an interesting experience, trapping in Fulton Park. You know, it wasn't the typical, usually people are trapping in someone's backyard or in a rural area. It was a little scary. It was up in the back of Fulton Park they tracked her to, by the old Waterbury Garden Club up there, and I was trapping. Actually, New Haven Pound called me and volunteered to trap. So
Yeah, New
that was
Haven's
nice.
great, yeah.
New Haven volunteered, so I got that trap set up, and I was catching a lot of animals that wanted to kill me, some possums and raccoons, and a lot of cats. And the more vicious the animals got, and I had no confirmed sightings of Callie anymore. It just got too dangerous, and to be going up there at night, you know, to Fulton Park at
Right.
10 or 11 at night, it was just. I did it for about a week, and then I felt bad for the wildlife I was trapping.
Sure. Well,
I
I
was-
mean, now how did you deal with that? Just kind of like open it and let them go, or?
Yeah, I kind of got. Some of them were nicer than others, and you know, one was a cute
You
little raccoon.
interrupted their lives.
Well, I felt that's what bothered me the most is I felt like Buddy from the movie Elf. I don't know if you've seen it, but the first time there was a cute little raccoon, and I walked up and I said, "Hi, Buddy. You know, hi, honey. It's okay." And I kind of took a long stick and I opened it, and he just scurried off. Well, the next day I went back, and I thought it was the same raccoon, so I walked up and I said, "Hi," and it was like, "Ah," and like threw itself at the cake. I was like, "Oh my God, this is it, you know. So very carefully did I release them, but that was the scariest part.
Oh yeah, because you don't know how mad they really
Yeah,
are and what
because-
they're going to do.
right.
They're wild creatures, and you don't know if they're sick or not.
And I stopped trapping up there at the park when I heard that there had been a rabid possum found up there. So I said, this is just, you know, out of control. And it was a little scary. You know, I had to find people to go up there with me at all hours of the night and all hours in the morning. And,
Yeah, you don't want to be wandering
It was too
around by
much.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And it's a big commitment to have a trap set because you have to be there every few hours. You can't just
well, you
leave a
remember when I
trap.
caught the cat
Yeah.
in the big ordeal that
Yes.
caused when there was a baseball game going on and I had to go to work for a few hours, and I showed up to go check the trap, and there was a bunch of kids all around frantic, and the police were on their way because I'd caught a cat. So some people thought I was trapping cats to eat them, or I don't know what they thought was going on, but
Yeah.
that was a big...
Well, you know, people aren't used to the whole trapping
Right.
issue, and they had no idea what you were doing.
They had no
and,
idea.
You know,
So, and-
in hindsight, maybe if you'd had a poster
Well, that came
on,
after.
yeah.
Yes, that came after. I didn't think
Yeah.
of doing that, but as soon as the big cat and the cops were called, and I put a poster on there, and I said, this trap is being checked regularly, and
Yeah, nothing like having to explain yourself for trapping a cat.
Yeah, I know. People, well, this was the only part that made, I was crying when I got it. I was so upset, because I knew the game was going on. Callie would come nowhere around.
Right.
And a woman comes up to me, and I said, I'm trying to explain to her what I was doing. So I said, well, what I'm doing is my dog is lost, and I'm trying to trap my dog. And this woman looks at me and said, so you put a cat in the trap?
Oh.
And at first I got a little upset. I said, no, I didn't put a cat in the trap. And then we all just started laughing. I mean, we just,
Yeah, that's, oh man.
I said, no, I didn't think of that though.
Yeah, really. I don't know that you trying to trap something by baiting
Yeah.
it with something, not a dog.
That's
anyway.
what that's what she was thinking. That was kind of
that's-
comical.
Yeah, that actually is hilarious.
We all just, first I
Yeah.
got angry, and then we all just
Yeah.
burst out laughing, because
Yeah.
I realized, wow, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it's stupid and funny all at the same time.
It was. Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 pages on Facebook. What are
Yes.
they?
Doggone Recovery. They set up the first one, Find Callie in Waterbury, and that was all just about Callie, trying to find Callie and Callie's search, and recruiting volunteers to help in the search. And the next page I set up because along the way I was running into all kinds of other needy animals, and I got involved with the helping of and the rehoming of all kinds of animals, and I was posting them on that original page because there were so many followers.
Right.
There's 170-something followers
Yeah.
of Callie's page,
That's
and volunteers.
That's a great number of supporters.
So I was posting them there, for animal lovers to see, and I got a lot of help through that page. But I just decided to make a separate page, and we call it Callie's Search and Rescue. So it is still geared toward Callie's search, but it's also to put out there all the other animals that are in need that I've come across along the way, and hopefully get them some help too.
Yeah, and that's it seems to be that there can't be one lost animal without encountering and helping and saving so many others, starting with the big one that brought so many of us together and taught us so much, Andy, back a couple of years ago. There's a lost dog, and there's like what gets rescued in that dog's wake.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it's insane how people pull together and polarize around, the lost animal, and everybody shares the information that they've learned with the other searches. I mean, there's just...
I've met some incredible, the support I have had has been unbelievable. I've made some really good friends that the connections I've come up with, and the help I've been able to network and get for these other animals is just it's overwhelming. It's amazing, the people that I've met.
Yeah, and they cross over too, which is really nice because it's they bring the experience with them.
Yes, because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'd never lost anything before.
Yeah.
So
you've had help from the woman who's got the Timmy search going on,
yes,
and
from
that's
Cindy Pelletier.
Cindy
Yeah,
Pelletier.
she's been a really a big help, a really big support system for me.
Yeah.
And
Rudy's dad,
yeah.
Blaine Trainer.
Blaine, yes.
He went through his own private hell,
Yeah, and he reached out to me and offered his help, and he did a lot of, he lives in that area where there were sightings of the Hill Street area, so when I couldn't be looking, or when I was sleeping at 4 in the morning, Blaine was out looking for me, so I knew a lot of the people were, like if I couldn't be actively searching.
Yeah,
I
you had somebody pretty much around the clock.
Yeah, even people that I didn't know, I knew were out searching, so I could, get a little bit of a break, so.
And that's awesome, because
I was very thankful.
Without a support network, anything is harder. And
it was hard the first week.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's almost impossible to look for, even to put up flyers by yourself.
Yeah, you can't. And that's what Blaine was facing for the first few days of his search.
Me too.
And, it's you're faced with so many emotions, and I think you're probably overcome with such a despondent, overwhelming grief.
Yeah.
And you don't know which way to turn. and to have that
Discouraged,
support
yeah.
and just lift you up and give you some wings.
Oh, it was amazing. I didn't know there was people that actually, you know, these lost dog recovery groups. I'd never heard of anything like that. I mean, the dog recovery group, I mean, they actually, you know, these are volunteers. Actually, when we had Callie tracked to Fulton Park, you know, I would search all day. I couldn't search at night. There was, they sent out a volunteer that came all the way from Avon a few nights in a row with night vision goggles.
Wow,
And
that's intense.
sat in the park and surveyed the park and set another trap and then surveyed the trap. I mean, that went on for 2 or 3 nights in a row.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
that's
it was intense.
amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, "Is you know, that's,
Yeah,
wow,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a great bonus because
Yeah.
you know, with the night vision goggles.
Yeah, so I would never have been out in the park searching myself at 12 o'clock at night, but here
Yeah,
these
no.
two guys came all the way from Avon and Farmington who had jobs of their own and sat out in the park for hours
Yeah.
looking for her. So
I mean, it's nice to know. I mean, it's sad that people have to have that experience, but it's good that they're willing to give it to help the next person.
yeah, so many people offers of help and just its generosity is just amazing.
Yeah, it keeps you going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
Keeps
that's
me going
important.
because it gets hard. Yeah, the more time goes on, yeah,
Yeah.
the harder it gets.
So some of what you've been doing has kind of been hand in hand with Cindy because your
Yes.
areas kind of overlap.
Our areas are overlapping, yeah, with the Timmy, with the
Yeah.
looking for Timmy, and yeah, I find myself when I'm going out putting up flyers for Callie, I'm reinforcing Timmy's as well. So Cindy keeps saying they're together. So
Yeah, I've seen her posting that.
we're
Yeah.
we're hoping they're together.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
never know.
It could be worse,
Yeah.
and one can only hope that, you know, Callie will bring Timmy home. Wouldn't
Yep,
that be a
that's,
cool
that's yep,
type of
That's
thing?
what we're hoping.
I mean, you know, hey, it could be worse. So what technically, we're kind of like going through this, what is your basic area of search so that people know to keep their eyes peeled?
Well, so my house being the center, the point where it's last seen, really, I've been concentrating about 3 miles, you know, in any given area around there. But I
Name
guess
some
it could
streets.
go, let's see, so we did Fulton Park, Hill Street, Moran. Now we're getting calls about Waterville Street and Lincoln Street.
Okay.
What happened was this was a change. We were focused in the Fulton area, and last weekend this changed when Tammy DeJoseph and her husband Mark DeJoseph have been helping me, really helping me in the search. Mark's been out looking, he drives for hours looking when I'm not looking, and Tammy is out looking and putting up flyers. So last weekend she was out at 8 in the morning putting up a flyer down toward, I think it was by like Waterville Park, I'm not sure, and a man pulled up and said, "I think I know where this dog is," and took Tammy over to Lincoln Street off Waterville and said that you know, he thought a family had taken Callie in and she showed up about a month ago, blah, blah, blah. So Tammy went and she was able to get in touch with the family in the house, and they said, "No, we didn't take her in, but it does look like her. She's been around for about a month, and she's, you know, she shows up and she sits on our porch." So now our efforts are all concentrated in that area.
Okay, so for anybody who wants to keep their eyes peeled, that's the hot area right now.
Yeah.
Now, Zach, we're going to pull up the pictures of the other animals before we run out of time. We can look at some of them quickly.
Yep.
Because, like we said, there's no search that doesn't have side effects, so to speak, and some of them are good ones.
All in 1 week we found all these animals.
And this, I think I know, is Delia,
This is Delia, yes.
who had like a street name.
She had a street name. Well, the little girl that was taking care of her when I first found her was calling her Forrest, but I thought she was calling her Lauren, so I called her Lauren, and then she said no Forrest. So it was Lauren Forrest, and then we called her Pumpkin.
Uh-huh.
So that was her street name.
And so now she's with a rescue.
Yes, she was with a rescue. Yep, they drove. She was very sick. She had a bite wound that had healed from the outside, and she was septic, and she probably would have died, the vet said, if we hadn't gotten her help. The rescue group drove 2 hours, over 2 hours to get to her, and they picked, that's her. They came and they picked her up, and that's them taking her.
Yep.
And she was
And so
grateful.
they've been posting updates about her like every day, which is
She's
really
doing
cool.
Good. Yep, she's doing really good, and she was basically a feral dog, so she's living
She's living large
large
now.
now, not eating out of dumpsters. No.
And who do we have next?
That's Delia again.
Still Delia.
These are
That
the
was her.
before, these are her before pictures, and this is her after picture with her wearing her coat.
Yeah,
She's
that's
with her foster family.
so cute.
Yep.
Who do we have next, Zach? And who is this?
This, it turned out his name was Bernard.
Okay.
I found him, he was running around, I heard I was driving looking for Callie, heard a bunch of little kids screaming, and I looked over and he was chasing little girls around the girls' club trying to kiss them. So I realized when I
You
heard
should have called him Georgie Porgy. Pudding pie, kiss the girls and make them cry.
Yes, I heard all these little and I looked over and I said, what in the world is going on? And I realized it was no one's dog when I saw the little kids screaming and running, you know,
Right.
he's chasing them. So I was trying to catch up with him, and I have a bad knee, so I was hobbling downtown, and it was funny because I felt, talk about people coming together,
Yeah.
I felt someone tap me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and it was a young girl, and she looked a little wild, her and her boyfriend. I was like, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't know she wanted my purse, but she says, give me the leash. And I said, I handed it to her, and she took off running, and she caught up with Bernard, and we brought him in, and we found his owners the next morning. They had been missing him for 24 hours, so.
Did they cut his nails?
Oh my gosh. We arranged for someone to go over there. Joanne Matino is my partner in looking for Callie and in helping all these dogs too. So Joanne Matino knew a groomer, and she arranged for the groomer to go to their house and cut the
Awesome.
nails for free. So
And this
that's
is-
Joanne and Bernard. She actually took him into her house that night because we had nowhere to bring him. So that's Joanne and Bernard.
And who else do we have here?
Oh, this little dog, Joanne also was involved in this. This is Pretty. She was an owner surrender. When people find out what you're doing, the word
Yeah.
spreads quick that you're taking.
All right, and quick, one more picture. There's a cat.
Little kitty we found looking for Callie. He was hiding under a car, crying, cold. He's with a home now.
Okay, cool. All right, so we did it. We filled up all of our time. Here's our credits. We'll take the camera back. Do what I do. Peace,
Peace,
love,
love,
and dogs.
and dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs. Okay.
Yeah. Little dogs.
Little dogs, okay.
Woof, woof. We did it. Good night.